Hello and welcome to Unexplained Possibilities Podcast. I'm your host, Melvin the Crimson Taurus, and with me is the third-eyed mystic herself, the ever-so-lovely Neima.
Hello, everyone.
Today's show, it's a fun one. I'm actually excited for. Well, I'm excited for all of them, but I'm really excited for this one. It's an exciting show today because it is a story time show. And not only that, but we have a special announcement, and I think you guys are really going to like it. The story time is pretty much how Unexplained Possibilities came to be. Neima, do you know how we came to be?
I'm kind of curious how you came up with that idea and how you decided, hey, this is what I'm going to do, and how you started it. Because I know you contacted me after I think you had it going on for a while, and I was like, yeah, sure, why not? I got nothing better to do.
This is going to be several stories in one, and it's going to span maybe about 7 years.
Damn.
Yeah. Yeah.
You were thinking about it for quite a while.
Okay, well, again, you have to listen to the story. It's not necessarily that I was thinking about it. And the funny thing is, I can't even take credit for it. I can't take credit for the show. The name, yes, I will always take credit for the name. Unexplained Possibilities is my name, but the actual concept and the show itself, not my creation per se.
Okay.
I'll explain it. Okay, so let's rock and roll. So yeah, about 7 or 8 years ago, a young whippersnapper Melvin was searching the interwebs and came across this little known site called YouTube. What I was doing on YouTube, I was looking for paranormal, supernatural things. Just some weird stuff to freak me out. Who doesn't like getting freaked out, right?
Yeah, everyone likes a good scare.
So this occurred around November. It was early November when I was doing this particular search. And for some reason, I just wanted to see stuff about aliens. I don't know why. I couldn't tell you why. But I just wanted to see and hear about people who were taken by aliens, their stories, what happened to them, and unfortunately I couldn't really find anything. People are very hesitant to speak about their experiences, and rightfully so. I mean, how does it sound like, hey Neima, what's up? You having a good day? Yeah, so last night I was visited by some aliens. So yeah, I didn't really find what I was searching for until I came across someone by the name of Alien Photog. And Alien Photog, I mentioned him a few times. We became good friends, and well, I'll get to that part in a second. But anyway, I came across his videos. They're still up on YouTube. Just go to Alien Photog on youtube.com and they'll pop up. And I saw his first couple of videos, and they were titled like interview or they take me or something like speaking with alien abductee, something like that. And I was intrigued. I was like, okay, I could get behind this. And I clicked on the video, and sure enough, I was immediately turned off. And the only reason I was turned off was because he was using a, what do they call them, voice synthesizer to hide his actual voice. And I was like, oh man, this is somebody who's faking. Yeah. So he sounded a bit like, not Darth Vader, but his voice was screaming, I want to play a game. Like the Saw people. It's like, come on. Over here, Jigsaw was taken by some aliens. Yeah, right. But I said, whatever. And I clicked on a few more videos, and then I found some where he actually took it off, and then I was like, okay, I'm back in it, so I'll actually listen to everything now. And I was captivated by what he was saying, his experiences, this thing called the hybrid program, all that crazy stuff. I was like, what is this? This is bizarre. Like, whoa. Because at the time when I thought aliens, like most people, you get the image of the traditional gray. Some are short with the big head and, pale skin, or they're going to be tall with the big head, big black eyes, and pale skin. One or the other. But he's over here going on about Orion Grays, and of course they were tall, and one looking very beautiful, and hybrids and reptilians, and how musicians are in contact with aliens and stuff. I was like, "Are what? What is happening?" And it really caught my attention. And I saw that he had a website, and it was called Alien Addictions. I went to that website, and I immediately went off the website. Now you might be saying, well, what was the point of going if you were just going to log right on off? Well, I just wanted to see what it was. And this happened several times. I was lurking. Like, have you ever done that, Neima, where, you kind of lurk around and see what's happening?
Oh yeah. I go down the rabbit hole, so to speak.
Okay, so you get it. Yeah, so I was lurking and seeing what was what on there, and then I would go back to his YouTube videos, and it turns out he had a radio show, paranormal internet radio show, and I caught a few live shows, and I was like, hey, this isn't bad. Okay, all right, he's not crazy, and these people who actually experience this stuff, most of them aren't crazy. There were a couple of cases where it's like, yeah, sorry, you're too out there.
What's too out there?
Too out there is when you start seeing things that 100% aren't there. You're saying a cloud is a UFO, and demon faces are now coming and trying to grab you through the water, and you are a princess from planet Nibiru, and you have to mate with everyone. That's too far.
Yeah, that sounds like too far.
Yeah, so, but I'm such a nice guy. I'm to the point where, you know what? If you believe it, I don't care how nutty it sounds. I'll believe it right along with you, and I'll look like a nut too and defend your butt. So, I hope you're happy. I'm going down with the ship. Okay, so, how many weeks passed? It was about 3 weeks that passed, and in December, I was like, okay, it's time to stop lurking. I'm interested. I'm going to join the site. I'm going to do it. I'm going to join, even though I have absolutely no experience with aliens or the paranormal at all. I am what they would call a normie. And I'm like, I'm going to do it. It's going down. So I delayed joining until the tail end of December. It was around Christmas time. It was either December 23rd or the 27th. Yeah. It was. Yeah, it took a while. But now what happened was, in the chat that they had on the website, AP, Alien Photog, AP for short, AP's wife was on there, and she knew people were lurking, and she was like, hey, don't be a lurker, come on in, join us, and let's yap and have some fun and all this good stuff. And I was like, yeah, well, okay, sure, why not? So I actually joined mostly because of her being so friendly. And
Aw.
when I joined, another person joined at the same time. And for whatever reason, Mrs. AP, that's what she was called on there, we hit it off really, really good, like too good. And like she is my sister. Like even though she is super white pale with red hair and it's like really you guys are related? Like yeah, that's my sister. So like we are family. We hit it off that good. Now the other guy who joined with me, she didn't like him.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, he was a bit of a wiener though, and he got the boot. So, but yeah, so Mrs. AP and I, we would speak and talk about different paranormal events and real life, of course. And she was surprised by something. I told her some personal information about myself, and she refused to believe me. She was like, "No way, no way." That's not true. I was like, it is true. It is true. I'm not telling you guys what it is because, like I said, it's personal information.
Oh, dang it.
But, well, I'll tell you, Neema. I'm just not going to tell everyone else listening. I don't.
Oh, okay.
I mean, God, we're
As long as I get to find out.
yeah. I mean, we're tight like that, eh? Yeah. So she was like, no way, and for whatever reason, she just found it so humorous, and she liked it so much, she shared it with AP. And this is actually how we started speaking. And he challenged me to prove that I could read him. Because I said, oh, I'm somewhat able to read people by hearing their voices. I can usually get a good feel for them. And he, he was like, okay, prove it then, man. I mean, you're a fish out of water here, but come on, let's see. And I did it just like that, challenge accepted. And he was shocked. I'll never forget what he told me. He was like, Mel? Oh, yeah, and on there I went by Melman8642 or something. So, yeah, big difference. Yeah, right. He was like, Mel, I've asked so many people to prove that they're able to do this, and they all say they can, and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh man, I must have bombed badly. Quite the opposite. Apparently, I got everything right, and I said stuff that no one should have known about him that I just picked up from his speaking habits, like how he spoke, which is a pretty cool technique if you're able to do it. I mean, same with you, Neema. Man, I had you figured out right from the start.
Oh, wow.
No, that's not true at all. But with him though, I was able to read him and tell him like little things that no one else caught. And he was just like, whoa. And after that, we started yapping and we became really, really good, close friends. And, like so close again, we're family. I mean, pretty much he was my brother. The wife was my sister. It's some weird hillbilly stuff there, but whatever. Now, this is where things start to get a little bit more interesting. So, it was the new year, so January 1st and beyond, for whatever reason, my popularity started to grow on the site. I have no idea why. I couldn't tell you why. But people liked me. I'm cool with that. Saying that though, there also started to be a decline with the content that AP was putting out. And, I was actually going to have him on Unexplained Possibilities to talk about all of this, but unfortunately, he passed away last year. So, I'm hesitant about talking about some of it because it's better coming from his mouth. But at the same time, we need to fill in the blanks here. So, and his wife, she's cool with me talking about it. She doesn't care. I already got the okay from her. All right, so yeah, AP's content started to decline a little bit, and people were like, "Man, I wonder what's happening, what's going on," and it was gaps between radio shows. and no one knew what was up. I didn't know what was up either. So I was speaking to him and everything, and turns out he was just getting burnt out. You see, he backed himself into a corner. And this is one of the first lessons I learned, even though I didn't know I would be doing something like this at the time. But if you're going to name your show something, don't name it something where you're stuck on that topic only. You see, since his show was called Alien, the website Alien Addictions, and the radio show Alien Addictions, he was stuck on the alien topic. And, you can only talk about that for so long. You can only talk about your experiences for so long before you just get tired and burnt out, and it's just like no mas. Did I say that right, Neima? No mas?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. You don't speak Spanish. Why am I going to you for this? So, you
I
hear?
speak poquito, muy poquito.
Okay, good enough. I think that very little, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, that was the first lesson. Don't name your show something that's one dimensional and everyone expects this one thing, or else you will get burnt out. You can't diversify. You're just stuck. And I saw that right away. And, he tried to introduce a few other topics, but everyone was there just for the alien talk, which I'm guilty of myself because that's how I found him. And the other thing was he was trying to bring people together who had their own different experiences, but they all seemed to gravitate towards his experience. They wanted to hear more and more about what happened to him. And he said everything that happened. It was like, hey, it's no more, guys. This is it. And now, this I won't say, I won't give all the details, but I will say that he experienced a change and he got sick of the interactions between him and aliens, and he wanted nothing more to do with it. He was like, no, you guys go away. I don't want anything more to do with you. So he was burnt out in that way as well. And people kept coming to him more and more. Like he would, and I've seen the emails where people would message him asking for help and what should they do? How did they fight back? Or some people were like, I want to be taken. And eventually
Wow.
folks started treating him almost like a messiah. And he hated that.
Oh my God.
He did not like that. And what he was trying to do was get other people to tell their stories and create that type of bond and community. But unfortunately, the people, they were like sheep. And it was just like, man, man, man. It's like, no, go, please use your own mind, share between each other. But they just weren't doing it. I mean, he literally could have said, someone give me $1,000. They would have done it instantly. And he did not like that. Yeah, who would have thought? He wasn't trying to make a cult.
Wow. That's wild. Like, oh, you just try and put your experiences out there and everyone's like, oh.
And I'm seeing things from both sides, but I'm getting the full picture because he's telling me everything was happening and stuff. I'm like, oh man, this is crazy. Like, I can see how you're burnt out. And he just, it just kept dragging on, and eventually, he just got sick of doing radio shows. Even though he had some real cool guests on and stuff, he just got tired of it. And he would, like, if he did one a week, it dropped to maybe one a month. That's how done he was. It was just whatever. And he did try to bring in other topics, but they never stuck. But the site kept growing. More and more people were showing up, and these were real people. They weren't bots, they weren't trolls, these were legit people. And one of these people, and I'll never forget this date, August 10th, one of these people who showed up happened to be Rose. Yes, Rose from Unexplained Possibilities, the crazy Aussie. And, when she first joined, we didn't really talk too much. I mean, it was in passing. Hey, hey, good day, mate. And of course, there's a time difference as well. But, I shouldn't say names for this. I really should not. But I will say that an Australian paranormal group, quite the phenomenon, they were on the site. And one of the head guys with that group was a super pervert. Like, I'm talking about super pervy. He would PM all the women and try to get them to show, send nudes and stuff, or instigate some sexual stuff. And yeah, it just was like, and I didn't know about it. AP didn't know about it. Mrs. AP didn't know about it because no one said anything. And if they did, it would have been handled real quick. And when I was speaking to Rose the first time, and because she kept popping on and off, and whenever he came on, she went off. I was like, man, they're in the same time zone. What's happening here? So I was speaking to her, and I was like, what is happening, man? Like, something is off. And she spilled the beans, and it's like, yeah, the guy, he asked, like, what color my panties were that I was wearing in a mess. It's like, really? And me being me, of course, I just had to, are they black? So,
Oh God.
it's actually a running joke between us now, so. But yeah, she knew I didn't mean anything by it. It was just a joke to try and ease her up some. Now, I went to AP and I was like, hey, where are the mods at? Can we do something about this? And he made me an administrator. I was like, well, I would have been fine being a normal mod, but okay. So now I'm like super admin with the band hammer and everything. And I confront the perverted Aussie, and I was real cool with them too, because I told him in a PM like, "Hey, man, I know what you're doing. Knock it off. It's disrespectful, and it's not cool. If you want a chick, just go somewhere else or something, or be more polite. Don't be a wiener." And yeah, he was cool about it, so it seemed, and we left it at that. I was like, all right, cool. And he didn't speak to Rose anymore. That was fine. And he, from what I understood, he wasn't flirting with the other chicks, at least not in the disgusting manner he was. And everyone was cool, and things were, we had some law and order finally, and I was the law and the order, man. I did not power trip though. Don't worry, I did not do that. I'm very humble with my power. Like, don't make me use it. So yeah, okay. So yeah, talk to Rose, and we start hitting it off like really good, and it was just like, I don't know. It was like it was an old friend from middle school that I haven't seen in years, and we're reconnecting, and it's like, hey, and we just hit it off, and we've been speaking to each other at least once a week for the last 6 or 7 years. So yeah, because Rose, she came on a year and some change after I joined the site.
Hmm.
Yeah, so, and I mean, we've been best friends ever since. Who would have thought? Alright, so, moving right on along, the radio shows were starting to dry up. AP was being sporadic. I mean, he barely showed up on the site to talk to anyone. People kept asking, "Where are you? Where are you? What do we do? What about the shows?" And then, like, once they knew that our personal relationship, they started coming to me. And it's like, "Hey, what's going on with AP? Are there going to be any more shows? Is the site going to be updated? Is this?" I don't know. That's all I can say. I don't know. Honestly, I just wanted to have something like this power for one day so I could just stop a guy from being a wiener. That's it. But yeah, so it was like I don't know. I'll talk to him or something. So I speak to him and he's like, "Okay, yeah, we'll do a show or something." I'm just so burnt out. And he came up with the idea of having his wife on because they were in a terrible, terrible car accident and it almost killed him. And this is public knowledge. You can go to his page. He actually talks about it. But it almost killed him. He should have been dead, but he somehow survived. And so he was like, "Okay, let's have a show where we get my wife's perspective on things." Which, is kind of different. We always got his perspective on the alien stuff, so now we're going to get the wife's. The thing is, he did not want to really do it. I mean, he was involved with it, but he asked me to interview his wife. So, if you actually want to hear the very first instance of me doing something similar to this, go to Alien Photog's channel and I can't remember what it's titled. Something like "Interview with an Abductee's Wife" or something. And you will hear my stupid butt. And with her, oh, it is so bad. It's terrible. Oh man, it is so bad. But yes, that was the first time I've ever done something similar or close to what I'm doing now. Oh, it's bad. I could totally, because I have access to Alien Photog's account, I could totally delete them, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be respectful, and I promise everything will stay up. But I want those gone. They are terrible. But they're going to stay up out of respect to AP, and and they're kind of fun to laugh at, and there is good information in there, such as the aliens. They said that they never want to try and take the wife again because she's too difficult. Like, she put up a fight when they were coming for him, and she apparently kicked one in the face. So there's that. Neima, what would you do, if a couple of space people came into your room and they were like, "Hey, we're gonna take you on an adventure"?
I'd probably do the same thing. I would kick him in the face.
Well, they wouldn't come back for you. Now, interview is done, and this was actually the final show. There aren't any more after that, which is somewhat interesting because here we are now. So it's like, what happened between those years? Because the last radio show for Alien Photalk was 6 years ago, 6 or 7, give or take, because he actually uploaded them a little bit later than when we actually recorded. So, give or take, 6, 7 years, whatever. All right, so now within those 6 years, it's like, okay, so what's going on and how did Unexplained Possibilities come about? Well, this is where we go back to Rose. Rose kept saying that Oh, yes, and I should say that eventually AP let the website finally die, and he got out of the paranormal alien game, and he was burnt out, didn't want to deal with it anymore, didn't want to deal with aliens anymore. He was finished, and I can't blame him. If you're done, you're done. Like, it does. I'm just waiting for the day Neima, she pops up and says, "Okay, Melvin, I'm done." Like, you're leaving me? Yep, I'm gone. It's
Not
gonna.
for a while.
I hope not, because I don't have anyone else in
We
mind.
got a lot to do.
Woo! Okay, that's on record. You guys hear that, right? That is on record. All right. So between then and now, Rose kept bugging me like, Melvin, I want to do a type of radio show or podcast or something and talk about this stuff because she has experiences with aliens and she wants to tell her story or wanted to. And I was like, I mean, okay, I guess. I don't know. Wasn't even I wasn't even thinking about it. I was like, whatever. I was literally just fanning her off. And every few months she would say, "Hey, I want to do this, right? Let's do it. We should do it." I'm like, I mean, I suppose. I don't know. I have to look into it. Fanning her off again. She did this for like 3, 4 years straight. Like, she would always bring it up. And she would say how she would want it done and how she wanted to have a live set and this and I was like, slow your roll, all right, because you have to have bank for all that, and we don't. So I was like, you gotta start off small and work your way up. And again, she was like, yeah, I want to do it. Let's do it. We should totally do it. And again, I was just like, I don't know. I'll think about it. And by the 3rd year she was bringing it up, that's when I legit started to think about it. It was like, well, I have nothing better to do. I mean, you know, I quite literally do. I am one of the most boring people in the world. Like, social life. What is a social life? So I was giving it some thought, and the major thought was this though. I was like, I don't know how, but I just know I will be doing majority of the work. It's somehow it's gonna be on my shoulders. And I told her that. I straight up said, Rose, I don't know if I want to do this because I know I'm going to have to do everything. I know you too well. And I do. I know just about everything about her. And, of course, sure enough, I do all the work for the most part.
But we're glad that you do.
She talked me into it. And even though she talked me into it, I still wasn't rushing to get anything done. I was just like, okay, we'll get it at a step at a time. We'll see. And she was like, yeah, we're totally going to do it. We're going to have our own little podcast. We're going to get people on. We're going to talk about this, this, and this. And I want to share my story about the aliens and my experiences. And perhaps it'll help people and introduce them to new things. And, she was super excited. And it got me excited. I was like, okay. And then it hit me. I have no experience with any type of paranormal stuff. Like, I haven't experienced the paranormal. So how is that going to work? How am I going to be a host with no experience with the paranormal at all? And then she hit me with the other bombshell. I don't want people to know my actual name. Yes, Rose is not her real name. And so it was like, okay, so we need a new name for you. And she's a fan of Doctor Who. And so she went with Rose. Ooh, no one knew that. So yeah, that's how she came up with that. My name, Melvin the Crimson Taurus, I've said this a couple of times, but I actually have a personal YouTube channel, which I don't use. It's just mostly for viewing other stuff, commenting on their things and liking it. And it's called Crimson Taurus. And I, well, the name came on like this. Red is my favorite color, particularly the crimson variation of red. And I'm a Taurus. And I thought it sounded cool. Crimson Taurus. I mean, come on.
It does sound cool. I like it.
It turns out it's also a gun. So I didn't know that at the time.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that either. Huh.
But Crimson Taurus, yeah, that's how it came. But I have no problem saying my first name, and it's like, oh, it's a Melvin. That's fine. It's no big deal to me, and everyone shortened it to Mel anyway. So much so, some people legit forgot my full name, and other people think I'm a chick. So now the game plan is running, and I'm like, okay, so we're gonna do this, all right. And I give Rose all the credit in the world for actually creating the show, because it is her creation. Yeah, technically I'm a co-creator, but at first I wanted nothing to do with it. Well, I won't say nothing to do with it. I just was not into it, and I was concerned that since I had no paranormal experience, meaning that I haven't had any personal happenings, I didn't know how it would work. But apparently it's been working out pretty good. Turns out it's good to be a normie when discussing these type of things. So we needed a name. I take all the credit for the name. Rose gets none. Alright, so we needed a name, and she came up with some weird stuff. It was like talk aliens. I was like, nope, that's not happening. We're not backing ourselves up in a corner. I learned early. And then she was
Talk alien?
yeah, talk alien. I mean, it's kind of catchy, but you'd be backed up into a corner. And then she was like, super paranormal. I was like, what is wrong with you? Super paranormal? Like, stop smoking. Super paranormal. Paranormal. Yeah. And it was another one that was so ridiculous, and I straight up told her it was ridiculous. Like that's the good thing about our relationship. We can be 100% brutally honest with each other, and we just laugh it off. But it was Supernatural Now, and it's like, oh, Rose, you're killing me. And I was like, I will come up with the name. You do whatever, but I'll come up with the name. And I was thinking, like, okay, it has to be something that's catchy, yet at the same time not backing us into a corner. And I was just like, what could it be? And it literally just, a light bulb went off. I didn't really struggle with the name too much, and I was like, Unexplained Possibilities. It's kind of catchy, and it's talking about the unexplained, but it's also like, hey, anything's possible. I like that. And I brought it to Rose, and I was like, hey, Unexplained Possibilities, that's what we're going to be called. And she was like, really? And I wasn't going to argue. I didn't care if she didn't like it. I was like, no, this is the name, and it's not changing. And I'm happy it didn't change, because I think it's fairly catchy. Unexplained Possibilities. What do you think? All right, so we have the name, and we have an idea for the show. The issue is getting the software now needed and figuring out how to do the YouTube stuff and the recording, because when we first started, oh god, those things are terrible too. The sound's abysmal, but I'm leaving them up so you can actually see the transformation. But yeah, they were abysmal. But when we first started though, we didn't do live streams. We just did recordings, and I would kind of edit them and just upload them. It was the bare minimum of effort on my part. So sorry about that. If I could punch past me, I would, and I'd say, put in more effort, boy. So, and I'd be like, okay, okay. So yeah, the first, oh man, maybe the first 5 episodes, they're just terrible and just bad. But I can admit that, and I think the saying is true that we are our worst critics. And, it forced me to improve and take Unexplained Possibilities more seriously, which I have. I really like this little show. It's a nice little escape. I got to meet a lot of cool people whom I'm friends with. I got to meet Neima, who I so appreciate, and we're getting to her bit in a second. And it's just really cool. All right, so we're doing the recordings, and you guys have no idea how many times we messed up, were interrupted, just things went wrong like crazy. Even back then, we had technical difficulties. They don't go away for some reason. And I want that perfect non-issue show so badly. But yes, even
We'll get
back,
there.
I hope so. But yeah, we had the issues and stuff, but we made it work, and they were fun shows. However, and this is something that still seems to happen, Rose could never, if I was lucky enough to get a guest on, Rose was never able to join us for some reason. Like, it was always like, I can't, something came up, and it's like, darn it, Rose. And I don't like doing things solo because I have really bad anxiety. So you will never hear me do a show by myself. I mean, I don't mind doing a little 10 list or something or a review. That's fine. But as far as a show like this, you will never hear me solo. It'll always be with Neima, Rose, or a guest. So, hey, there you go. Some more inside knowledge for you guys. And it's always good having someone else around because, you get their opinion and their personality, and it's a good mix, and you flow off each other. Got to be like water. Flow, baby, flow. All right, so, yeah, whenever I got a guest on, Rose, for whatever reason, just couldn't make it. Like, bizarre things would happen. I know she was telling the truth because there's no way she would want to miss it. I think the only guest she was actually on for was Darren Evans. The first time he came on, and man, and that's one of the cool people that I've met on here. Freaking Darren Evans, dude was on Ghost Advent. He was on TV for crying out loud, and he's a published author, and it's just so cool. It's like, really, man, this guy's coming on my show, and psychic Kelly Ferguson, and then Erica from Tarot Wisdom. It's just so cool to me. It's like, whoa, how did this happen? People that don't have to give us the time of day, and yet it's like, yeah, sure, let's do it. I'll come on. So, yeah, Rose, her absences, yeah, I butchered that word, didn't I? Her absence started to build up some, and I already knew what it was from, and it was her job because she works retail, and she works a lot of hours, and I've never worked retail, but I know it's hard work. I know it's annoying, it's tiring, and you deal with too many people. And it was just draining her and taking all her time. And I knew she wouldn't really be able to continue on for a bit, even though she wants to. Like, every time I speak to her, like, she's like, I'm almost at the point where I could come back and stuff. I was like, all right, I mean, it's cool. And then I already told her I knew I was going to do 95% of the work anyway, so I was prepared for this. So, eventually, she had to bow out for a bit. I mean, she's still here. It's just, you know, she's bowing out. She's asleep. We'll say that. And that's when, this is around the time that I was speaking to Neima. Actually, um, yeah, because we first spoke in December of last year. How did that come about? Neima, do you remember how we started to speak?
You know what? That kind of gets me curious too. I want to say it was Twitter, right?
It
Or
was,
no?
yeah, no, it was Twitter because I don't do the Instagram. I recall. I know what happened.
Okay.
So I did a show with Shelley Cooley, who is a person who deals with ETs, and she was telling her story and a few things like that, and her group, Create Disclosure, and she's trying to spread awareness about the
Ah,
ET thing, and um, like she told me to check out her Instagram. And I was like, I don't have an Instagram. And she was like, oh, it's fine. Just go check it out anyway. And I was like, oh, okay, whatever. So I click on the Create Disclosure Instagram and I saw a comment. Yeah, I saw a comment from Third Eye Mystic or something. What, is that what you go on by there?
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's right.
yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, well, let's see. Let's check this person out. And I was like, when when I first saw your Instagram page, I was like, whoa, someone gets high. What is happening here?
Wow.
I mean, I don't mean that as an insult, but I could see how it
No, I
would
took it as a compliment.
be. Okay. Yeah, you guys got to check out her Instagram page. It makes you question things. And
It makes you say, why am I not high right now?
and so I was like, okay, well, that was interesting. I went to Twitter and I don't know what I was doing on there because when it comes to social media, I'm very bad at it. And a lot of times I don't know what to really say about things. And I'm a fairly I keep my information very, bleh. What am I trying to say? What are the words here? I don't put all my info out there and stuff. I rarely share stuff, and even on my Facebook, like even though I have 40 people as friends, out of those 40 people, only about 13 of them can actually see any of my posts and information. So I'm very personal with my stuff. I'm a very private person. There we go. And shoot, I mean, Neima and we're not even friends on Facebook. She totally neglects me.
I neglect everyone though, like on purpose. Just kidding. I
No,
do.
it's too
It's
late.
just too much. It's too much.
Yeah. So I was on Twitter. I don't know what I was doing on there, and I I remembered Neima, well, Third Eye Mystic rather, and it's a name you don't forget. And so I was like, I wonder, and I put it in the little Twitter search, and she popped up, and I saw a couple of her posts, and yeah, this is exactly what I said. You have an interesting mind. You've earned yourself a follow. Those were the magic words. It was like, wow, I'm in. Wait, that came out wrong, but you get the point.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh, you do? See? So, and so reading a few more of her posts and everything, and it was like, oh, Now I get the Instagram thing. She does shrooms. Okay, I get it now.
It
Oh,
all makes sense.
and I was like, "Hey, this is an interesting chick, man. I mean, she says some weird psycho mess, but it gets me it gets me thinking, and the juice is flowing." But yeah, so I saw your post, and I was like, "Okay, well, this is such an interesting person. Like, I have to get her on." And for whatever reason, you agreed. So you take over and tell us your side of why you agreed, or what you thought when I asked you. Just tell your side.
Well, when I remember correctly, when you first asked me, I was definitely kind of nervous, but it was something that I was considering. And I've always listened to a lot of the podcasts on my own. So I thought it was a neat concept. And I was like, oh, I want to do this so bad. And yeah, I just remember writing out all my notes, having everything all together. I think the first subject was psychedelics and philosophy. So yeah, it was fucking awesome. And I was super excited. And sure enough, it was a blast. We had a blast.
Yeah, me butchering your name.
Yeah, quite a few times, but practice makes perfect.
Yes, it does. I don't know if you ever saw it, but I actually did a little cut of me butchering your name, and it's on our YouTube page. So under podcast extra. So if you ever want to catch that, if you never saw that episode, oh wait a second, yeah, we did that. Did we do it live or was it recorded? I can't remember if it was
I
live.
want to say that one was recorded.
Okay, so yeah, it was just check out podcast Unexplained Possibilities Podcast extras, and you'll see me butchering her name and using a forbidden line. Want to go shrooming? Which totally didn't intend to say that at the time, but yeah, that was a lot of fun. So yeah, we actually somewhat hit it off. I thought you thought I was psycho or something. It's like, man, this guy, this guy. If only he knew. But apparently, I was very wrong. So after that show, what did you think?
Yeah, I thought it was good. And then I started listening to a lot of your other episodes. And I think sure enough, we were talking back and forth on Twitter. And then you asked me to co-host. And that made me like really, really excited. And yeah, I just decided, hey, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it. And I'm going to be committed. I have nothing else to do. And this is kind of the field that I like. So
Yeah, and speaking of the other shows in this show, like, we're a bit different from your traditional podcast in the sense that I am very lighthearted with things. I mean, I can be serious, but it's so much seriousness already, and it doesn't fit my personality, not for this anyway. And I enjoy speaking to people like we're best friends, Like, let's have a conversation and get the information out that way. Let's have some laughs. We don't necessarily always have to talk about current events. We don't even have to stick on the topic of the paranormal. Let's just enjoy.
right. Enjoy the conversation and communication. Mm-hmm.
And I think by having that type of approach, I think that people who listen enjoy it a little bit more, and they laugh along, and it might scratch their heads a few times, but it leads to very real moments. So we had a real moment the other day on the show with Pink Spooky and Creepy Blonde Girl, which if you haven't listened to, I I will put the edited version up hopefully sometime this week. I've legit for once in my life been busy, so I will get around to that though, because it was a fun show. But yeah, so you guys might be asking, what brought Neima on? Well, Rose's departure, and I didn't have another person I could think of to ask if they wanted to join. And I didn't really need to have one because I enjoyed the conversation with Neima in that very first show that we did so much, and her personality is different from Rose, which is a good thing. You never want the same, but it worked. We flow together, and I was like, yeah, I like this chick. And I'm sorry if that's insulting saying chick. I know some people have a problem with that, but that's just how I speak.
I don't have a problem with it, so you're fine.
Oh, awesome. You can always call me dude.
I will. I say that a lot. I say that all the time. And then when I say dude, though.
Okay, so, and I thought we were a good fit and asked her on. I mean, anyone who's willing to talk about some of the psycho stuff that I talk about and is willing to research and go all in on it, hey, man, you're always welcome. But we do have to work on this. We have to get you on when I have guests on. Like, you have the Rose syndrome there.
I know. I think, well, I did do it with the fire and water astrology, so that worked out. That worked out great. But I think just like too many signals or whatever's going on, it was really messing up for me last time we tried.
Yeah,
to do that.
with Josh. Oh, and that was your show too. Like, you're the one who put that together. I had nothing to do with it, and oh man, I wanted you to stay for that one because that's right up your alley.
Yeah, well, I'm glad he made it on and was able to talk about the same stuff that I'm just like, 24/7 I'm enveloped in.
So, but yeah, we're gonna. I don't know. We'll figure something out where we're gonna have another guest, and you're gonna make it, and it's gonna be awesome. As a matter of fact, though, it's going to be something totally out of left field that you are 100% uncomfortable with.
Oh, yeah? What's that?
Yeah, not 100% uncomfortable with, but you're going to be like, I hate you, Melvin, because I don't know if you guys know this or not, but Neima, oddly enough, she doesn't really care for creepy, scary things. And, I kind of gave her a nightmare when I was talking about the black-eyed children. Or, not a nightmare, but made you somewhat paranoid. Oops.
Yeah.
And, so I try to keep those topics very limited if I know I'm doing a show with her, because I love you, come on.
Yeah, that stuff weirds me out, man.
But every now and then, there is going to be a topic with that. So, we're going to have one where we talk about demons. So, just forewarning.
Oh, no.
Hey, I'm giving you a warning. It's not going to be anytime soon, but just so you can know. But, yeah, so she gets kind of creeped out by that stuff. And I am going to somehow, and I don't know how, but I'm going to somehow set up a guest who's deep into it and get her on, and we're going to have a ball, and I want to see her reactions.
That's why you're inviting me on, just so you can freak me out. Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I just want some reactions, like just to hear you say, "Oh no. Why would you what? No." Because I notice when something like freaks you out, you get a certain tone to your voice, and it's just the type of tone where it's like, I'm done. Nope, this isn't happening. Nope.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm signing out, not listening, gotta go. Done.
So you will definitely leave my butt, unfortunately. Which is cool. I probably would deserve it. So, but yeah, we got Neima on board, and we've been doing stuff since. And you came aboard in, was it January or February, like officially?
I want to say February.
Yeah, because January I had a show. It was going to be on spirituality and psychedelic. And sure enough, and she introduced me to one of the guests, Shay, and Neima was supposed to be on there, but she couldn't make it. So it's like, really, like, whatever. Um, so February was officially when you came, but that yeah, as a matter of fact, the spirituality show, I think that was our very first live stream because
Okay.
yeah, because I was nervous as sin. Like, here's the other thing, guys. I get nervous before and after every single show. Before, because I'm thinking about what's gonna go wrong. After, I hope people enjoyed and I didn't sound like an idiot. During's okay because your mind is just on yapping. But the before and after, that's just the worst. Oh. But after this show, I don't think I'll be too nervous. I think I'll actually be okay. Neema, what about you? How are you before, during, and after a show?
I don't know. I feel like I'm getting pretty used to it, so it's not as bad. I know in the beginning I would get really nervous, and sometimes when I'm talking, like I'll lose my train of thought from some of this. So, but I feel like we're getting a lot better.
Yes. Okay, good. So, Neema's on board. We got the live streaming. Next thing that I wanted to hit was 100 subscribers. Like, that number, man. I just wanted that number. And I honestly, like, I'm a pretty simple guy. Some people are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,000. Me, 100. 100. 100. And I mean, eventually I knew we were going to make it to 100. I actually didn't think it would be in last month. I thought it was going to be like maybe at the start of next year, but yeah, we did it last month, which is, oh man, I am so humbled by it. Just the fact that anyone listens to us and gives us the time of day, it's just so humbling and awesome because I can only speak for myself here because Neema is actually intelligent, but you're listening to
What?
yeah, you're intelligent. But me, I wing most of this stuff. You know, I will write things down, but for the most part, I wing everything and I have to be very quick-witted to try and keep up. So you guys are basically listening to a moron ramble while Neema, she's kicking it in the back. Oh, yes, yes, yes. I see. You know, and she has her notes laid out. She's prepared, you know, but not me. And I look like a freaking Tasmanian devil running all over the place. What do I do? You know, to myself anyway. But
Yeah, definitely to yourself. I don't think everyone thinks that.
but it's just so humbling having people listen to us, check us out, leave some comments, leave some likes, even leave some dislikes. I mean, it's just, if you get a dislike, it's like, okay, you need to work better. So it's just so cool. And the reason for the Storytime show was actually because we hit 100 subscribers. On the final podcast of September, I said that I would tell the origins of Unexplained Possibilities if we got to 100 subscribers. And we did. I mean, faster than I anticipated, like I just said. And so I wanted to share it with you. And there is a dog barking outside, and he will not shut up.
I wish we had sound effects. So when you say like 100 subscribers, like some siren would go off or something.
You know what? I actually do have a soundboard, but I don't know how to. I just don't know how to implement it just yet, because that's one of the
Ooh,
things I
we gotta
wanted to.
figure it out.
Yeah, that's one of the things I wanted to start doing, because it's some funny sounds on there, and yeah. So hopefully, I'll figure out how to add it on. I'm still learning this stuff as I go, which is another thing. No one told me how to do anything. I quite literally just started to pick it up as I went along and hope for the best, learn on the go, get better every day. Story time's coming to an end, but I want to say thank you to every single one of you subscribers. Over 100, actually. We're at 106. Last I checked.
Oh,
So,
what?
yeah, you guys are freaking awesome. Yeah, look at that. 106 subscribers, 4,000 views. That's crazy
Wow.
to me. But you guys are just freaking awesome, and Rose and Neima, even though I'm kind of speaking for her, but she's right here. She could speak for herself, of course. But
Yeah, I'm really grateful. Thank you guys.
so it's really cool, in my opinion, anyway. Some other jerks like, man, it's only 100. Yeah, man, it's only 100. This is awesome. So, and I would also like to thank every single guest we've had on. How can I not say this? Neema, thank you. You came on, and no, you came on when you didn't have to, speaking to my little weird butt. And I mean, dare I say, we actually became friends afterwards, and you still yap with me. You're still here for some reason. And like, I quite honestly could not do the show without you. And that's just the God's honest truth. Thank you so much for just, kicking it with me and doing this. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh, thanks for having me. Thank you, subscribers.
The biggest thanks, and the final one, goes to Rose, the alien queen, because without her, there would be no unexplained possibilities. Like, even though she's not here right now, she put this together, and I thank her the most out of everyone, because this is her baby. I kind of breastfeed it, but it's her baby, and this wouldn't be without her. I wouldn't have met all the awesome people that I have met. I wouldn't be able to speak about paranormal stuff. I never would have met Neema, and I can't annoy her, so Rose, you did good, girl. So thank you.
Yes, thanks, Rose.
All right, now to the big special announcement, which probably isn't going to take place until December, which is rather funny. It's like, why announce it now? Okay, so I decided, as a way to show further thanks, Unexplained Possibilities will now be doing giveaways. Yes, that is right. We will now be doing giveaways. And the first thing we're going to give away is a $25 Amazon gift card. Neema, I was expecting you to go, ooh.
I know. I kind of sense that you were expecting that. But I was expecting like the sirens to go, woo, woo. Your chance to win.
Yeah, your chance to win a $25 Amazon gift card. Unfortunately, it's only going to be limited to those in the States for right now, in the US, and maybe Canada, but there will be other things
Canada.
there will be other things that go worldwide. For instance, like whatever book Neema is reading at the time, we'll have a copy of that up for a giveaway. Or since I know Darren, I'll see if I could get some signed copies of the Zozo Phenomenon and do some giveaways with that. Or whatever topic that we discuss and it's interesting, I'll figure out something to give away with that topic in particular, whatever it is. But the first one is a $25 Amazon gift card, and it will be I think it'll be best to do a digital gift card, so you don't have to worry about any type of mailing and all that stuff. It will be digital. It'll go right to your email, and currently Neima and I have no idea how to structure this giveaway, which is why it's not going to happen until December. But saying that, it's going to happen. You're going to want to stay tuned. And with that said, I think this is a good place to end it. What do you think, Neima?
I was just going to say, if the listeners have any ideas on what kind of raffle that they would, or any ideas on what we should do in order to give away the gift card, to let us know.
Okay, so Neima, drop a Neimaism on us.
I really should stop texting while going up and down stairs. And that's because I almost fell like 3 different times. And I kept doing it.
I think you should stop doing that.
I thought it was fine because I don't drive. Hey, I'm a good person if I don't text and drive. Texting going up and down the stairs, I think that should be, I think people should know not to do that. Like, don't text and walk,
You heard it here first. Don't text and walk. You might break your ankle. With that said, don't forget to check out Unexplained Possibilities on Facebook and Twitter. And also be sure to stop by thirdeyemystic.com and go into the mind of Neima. You might like what you see there. And remember, guys, there are things that go bump in the night. Go ahead and tell them hi. Bye, everybody.